how does the feel of your team at this point compare to the team that you had a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, we got the savior of basketball, Aaron Wiggins, out here doing his thing. So
by now, you've probably seen it or heard about it. Aaron Wiggins saved basketball.
Aaron
Saved
Wiggins,
basketball.
Aaron Wiggins.
You saved that basketball, boy.
Thunder fans know the story of what that actually means and the origin of the meme.
Of course I do.
But as the Thunder have gained momentum as a national story, becoming one of the best teams in basketball, with Wiggs himself continuing to grow and develop as one of the best do-it-all role players in the league, a wider audience has started asking, okay, what's the deal with this whole Aaron Wiggins saved basketball thing? So, let's explain it. But before we get all the way there, we need to start with a little backstory because it really makes the whole thing make a lot more sense that way. So Aaron Wiggins grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina, playing basketball, football, he was a quarterback, running track, and he also played piano and the trombone, even acting in plays. Yes, you heard that right. His mom told the Washington Post this a few years ago. I wanted the children to be well-rounded. I wanted them to be musically inclined. I wanted to expose them to the culture of art and theater. Wiggs was the first chair in the middle school band and played in his church band for much of high school. And until about 7th grade, he danced. Tap, jazz, ballet, and hip hop. He went to Wesleyan Christian Academy and wasn't a highly recruited player, but was teammates with Jalen Horde, a 5-star prospect from France that was playing in North Carolina. As recruiting stories often go, then Maryland coach Mark Turgeon was there to see Horde, but a different player caught his eye. Turgeon said this, I just thought he was a really complete player. He's just got so much game. He's got ability. He can defend. He can rebound. He can shoot it. He can score off the dribble. He can handle it pretty well. He's becoming a better passer. I just thought there was a huge upside there. Kind of weird, because that description of Wiggs then, as a high schooler, kind of describes him perfectly now. But huge upside though, absolutely. But one so big that he'd save basketball? Well, we're getting to that. Trust me, it'll all make sense.
Just hurry up, I don't have all day.
Wiggins was the first player to commit to Maryland in its 2018 class and had the classic tools. 6'6", good wingspan, good athleticism, and more than anything, knows how to play. He played for the Terrapins for 3 years, and as a junior, averaged 14.5 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. By no means, though, was he some kind of major NBA prospect, but he still decided to enter his name in the 2021 NBA draft and was taken with the 55th overall pick by the Thunder. Now, we've got some of the history lesson out of the way, so let's get to the saved basketball part, which began in a way no one would have expected, which is what makes this meme and this story so great.
The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last.
Wiggins joined the Thunder as a two-way player, right in the middle of the team's transition and rebuild period. So he's splitting time between the Blue and the Thunder, gaining experience, building his game, learning the NBA style. With where the Thunder were at, there was a clear open mindset to exploring every player, and Wiggins was a perfect example of it. He had a game against the Pelicans where he scored 24 points, doing it in classic Wiggins efficiency. 2 games later, he scored 22 against the Suns, continuing a run of 7 straight games in double figures. At this point, it was clear the Thunder had a talented player on their hands, one much better than what his draft position would suggest, and in February, they converted his two-way deal to a full-time contract. He had another game with 25 against the Wolves, then 28 in an overtime win against the Blazers. And it was all just the way that Wiggins played. Smart, team-oriented, making backdoor cuts, taking good shots, defending multiple positions. He had clear role player genetics and was the kind of player that you could easily see slotting into a spot as the Thunder continued to build out their talent pool. Second season, again solid. 70 games, 6.8 points on 51% shooting, almost 40% from three, as he really carved out that role. Coach Mark Daigneault has used Wiggins as a great example of a system player that can excel in OKC's scheme. And his second season is where that really started. He just did his job, never overcomplicating his role. And you could see just how much his teammates liked him too. He's the kind of guy you root for. He's fun to play with, which makes sense for a guy that saved basketball. So third season, last season, is where Wiggins mastered the OKC system, averaging 6.9 points on even better efficiency, 56% shooting, almost 50% from three on more than 1.5 attempts. And what makes Wiggins so unique, and again, such a fan favorite, and as you're about to understand, the savior of basketball, is his approach to it all. He's a player that has started games. He's a player that has gotten healthy DNPs. He's a player that has played 34 minutes. He's a player that has played 4 minutes. Game to game, it's kind of up in the air how Wiggins will be used. Coach Mark has even said he doesn't know how many minutes Wiggins will play sometimes. Wiggs is just a quintessential example of a Thunder player staying ready to do his job. Wiggs is also a true developmental triumph. A player that knows how to play the right way, marrying into a system that knows how to amplify a player with that sort of mentality. What so many people saw as lost seasons for the Thunder in 2021 and 2022, what they really were was about uncovering gems like Wiggs and giving them an opportunity to find out who they could be as a player. Some of that is adding leash, then pulling it back, and then fitting it all into a tighter role, then expanding it all over again. And that's what we've seen with Wiggs. He's continued to add because he's afforded that air to breathe. Which brings us to this season, and with it, the saved basketball part.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Stay with me. As is such with so many Thunder players, Wiggins continued to evolve, finding ways to challenge his own game. The way he played at such efficiency had Thunder coaches pushing him to be more aggressive offensively. And it points back to a key time where things can feel bad, but provide the cracks of opportunity for growth. During the 2023-24 season, both SGA and J-Dub were out late in the season with injuries as OKC embarked on a tough road trip. The Thunder didn't have proper creators and ball handlers available, so Wiggins slotted more into a primary role. The Thunder were in a 3-game losing streak, causing some grumbles and some frustration, but meanwhile, Wiggins was building on his game, playing extended minutes on the ball. Against the Hornets, where OKC snapped that losing streak, Wiggins scored a new career high of 26 plus 5 assists, hitting key shots down the stretch. You can see it all coming together now, can't you? It's really all about to hit home how Aaron Wiggins saved basketball. This season, with that push to continue expanding, Wiggins took a few steps back in efficiency, but continued to play consistently solid minutes. Cutting, spacing, rebounding, defending, all those same things that he did in high school to catch Mark Turgeon's attention. He just does everything well. 51, 39, 80 career shooting splits. Underrated rebounder on both ends. Guards 3 or 4 positions comfortably. Can screen, can roll, plays well off the catch, shoots well off the catch, passes it. He's a great cutter, takes great shots, can create his own shot. I love this stat. 0 dribbles, 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, more than 3 dribbles. Wiggins' efficiency is virtually the same across the board. He's an elite finisher, shooting better than 70% at the rim, and his diet of who he has been assisted by this season is as balanced as anyone on the team. He's just a good player. Against the Knicks on January 3rd, he scored 19 points, 15 coming in the fourth quarter as he caught complete fire from deep. Then against the Kings on February 1st, he dropped a career-high 41 plus 14 rebounds, by the way, to put him on a pretty lofty list of Thunder players that have scored 40 in a game. Oh, and can you name the last one on that list? One Luguentz Dort. The crowd chanted Wiggs' name for the final few minutes of the game, and if you're familiar with Aaron Wiggins, it's easy to see why fans are drawn to him. He's got a magnetic coolness and charisma that shows up on the court as much as off, but it's that he is such an example of what a team player looks like. Thunder fans appreciate that kind of player. someone willing to do their job without asking for the recognition or attention, whether it's for 25 minutes or 5 minutes. I'm not comparing the two players by any means, but it kind of reminds me of how Manu Ginobili, the once 57th overall pick, became such a Spurs staple. So, that's the story of how Aaron Wiggins saved basketball. To recap, if you missed it, Aaron Daniel Wiggins, born January 2nd, 1999, 26 years old, number 21 for the Thunder, former Maryland Terp, 55th overall pick, not related to Andrew, saved basketball. Oh, you wanted to know when it started, though. It started the first time he saved basketball, obviously. Now do you get it?